Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Session and Classics. This is episode number 1478 and Doubleshot number 1578, Doubleshot 1472. Now, the two trades I got here, I actually got these last weekend. I got the, well, it was in the area where it was at a Books Million. Yes, a Books Million. And these things was sold for like dirt cheap. Like, wow. This first trade, I had wanted to get my hands on this thing for such a long time. Especially since, number one, I've actually met the writer. And here's another thing. I believe this was actually her first book she ever did. Yeah, and this book only came out about 7 years ago. What book is it? Faith. This is the first trade to collect the series. This is Faith, Hollywood, and Vine. Collecting the original 4-issue miniseries of Faith, released, I believe it was in like 2014, if I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like 2014, because it's not been very long. I mean, Jody Houser has not been writing for very long. She's been around, like, writing comics almost as long as Meredith Finch. Now, the thing is, Jody Houser, the only thing I have reviewed by her is Mother Panic. Also, Milk Wars, Renew Your Vows, Star Wars Rogue One, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's all I've reviewed from Jody Houser. I mean, another thing I want to review from her is just War Wars. She actually has done more Star Wars stuff. I mean, aside from this miniseries, she also did the ongoing series that came right after this one, which is 12 issues, Fate of the Future Force, and Winter Special. And that's it. That's all she ever did for Valiant. This book is practically the start of her writing career. Yes. Now, Faith is by far the only one of two characters from the Harbinger series who got their own spin-off books. The other is Tokyo Harada. The main villain in the book got his own series. Yes, he did. You got two of them. Faith is probably by far the reason why she got one, because of how humongously popular she is. Now, the thing about Faith is, you can have a look at her, she's a plus-size superhero. Yes. Now, what turned me on to this character? Her personality. She's a great person, like the character, anyways. She also is a big fan of comics. Now, here's the thing about Faith. Now, she does have powers. She's part of the metahuman stuff related to the Value universe. Initially, her power was only flight. That was her only superpower. Here, apparently, they decided to give her another superpower. Looks like kind of like telekinesis and almost like a force field. That's her new power she got here. Here, she kind of acts like a version of Clark Kent, known as Summer, who wears a wig and glasses. Which, that's actually pretty smart, because all Superman wore as disguised as Clark Kent is a pair of glasses and a suit. Here, at least Faith actually puts on a freaking wig. That makes her look a redhead. Initially, she was an intern. Also, her first boyfriend pops up in the series. Now, her first boyfriend was Torque from the Harbinger series, which they broke up once she found out he cheated on her with a woman who's slimmer than she is, and because he wanted to be a celebrity. So, she ended up with Archer from Archer and Armstrong. And here's a fun fact for her. She actually occasionally appeared in the Archer Armstrong books. I don't think she appeared in the original book, the original one of the relaunch for this character. Now, I initially didn't know this until Jody Howe was telling me, because I didn't know she was actually part of the original Valiant universe until she told me this. Yeah, she did. She told me this, and I should point out, though, Faith initially, like, I read some of her early appearances in the original Harbinger book, that she was actually slimmer. Like, later on, she put on some weight. But this book is basically her just being an intern, Contra, a bad guy, which also caused some damage to her work. Which, by the way, as a Faith Future Force, she's still working for this place. I think she actually did graduate from being intern to be a regular full-blown reporter. Yeah, she's a reporter. That's pretty much her job and her secret identity. Now, the police know she's Faith Herbert. Despite the fact, at one point, she started up a code name of Zephyr, which they actually didn't really use. There's no mention of Zephyr at all. Because, initially, aside from this book, and appearing in Harbinger and Archer and Armstrong, like both books, she also appeared in the short-lived Unity series, where she was one of their most prominent characters in that series. Like a character like Ninjak, X-Men at War. It's an absolute great comic book. That got canceled after 2 years. Yes. So initially this book's probably so... Valiant had probably did not have some big high hopes for the character Faith. But they probably figured though, this book probably sold pretty well by their standards. And the book also got critical acclaim. So that's why we got an ongoing series. That didn't last very long. That's 12 issues. But for the start of Faith, this is good. Give this a 10 out of 10. Just a really good book. Yes, I do recommend it if you're a fan of Valiant. Now, the thing with this book is, like other Valiant books, it's only $10. Yeah, $10. I'm like, wow, that's dirt cheap. Like, here's a book that was a lot cheaper, and the price on the guy, I didn't chance to get the price tag for it. This is Infinity Wars Sleepwalker. Yes, it actually costs as much, about $5. And the cover price for this thing was probably about $15. Yeah, this is all about the Sleepwalker. And you're probably thinking, Nick, who the heck is this guy? Well, there was this guy, he's basically kind of like a other entity that the character named Rick Sheridan turned into. He's basically a nightmare who fights bad. He's basically a nightmare vigilante who fights bad guys. Which, by the way, this trade here includes the miniseries for Sleepwalker. Which, here's a fun fact for you. Did you know Sleepwalker actually had an ongoing series in the 90s? Yes, they did. And this book does contain his very first appearance from Sleepwalker #1. Yes. Let me look up and see who created the guy. This should do right here. Let's see if I can find him here. Here we go. Alright. Now, Sleepwalker first appeared, in his ongoing series in 1991, created by, and you probably have never heard of these people. I barely heard of these guys. Bob Belinsky and Brett Bivens. Yep. And, he created Sleepwalker. Sleepwalker lasted for a few years. Lasted for 33 issues. Yes, this guy also wrote some stuff for the Transformers UK book. He also was the original writer of the original Marvel Transformers line. Well, the Marvel Transformers comic. Yeah, he was the original writer for it. He wrote a good chunk of the first half of the series, like around close to the first 55 issues. He did skip a few issues, but he was the original writer for the book. He also adaptation of the movie, Generations, Headmasters. The guy doesn't really do anything at all. I think he's retired. But yeah, he created Sleepwalker. Brett Bivens is an artist. He was known for working on New Mutants. He's actually 61. You're thinking 61. And this guy doesn't do comics much anymore? No, he did do some DC, but his most prominent book he worked in DC, as of recently, he worked on Harley Quinn. Well, the Rebirth book. Yep, he worked on that and worked on the 80 for Starman. Marvel, aside from working on Sleepwalker, which he didn't do all the issues for. No, he did around the first 25 issues, skipping only a few issues. Yes. He also worked on New Mutants in the late 80s. He also worked on books like Doctor Strange for an issue, Ghost Rider. It's like he didn't do a lot for Marvel. He basically worked there from 80 cents to 90 something. But I think mostly he works in cartoons. Yes. So, the best way also to describe this character is that it's Marvel's take on Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Mm-hmm. Yes. This is technically a second miniseries that feature. This is his first miniseries that features him. Now, who wrote this thing? Well, the writers of this book are Chad Bowers and Chris Sims, really good writers. The artist is Todd Niddick. Mostly put, this is, you might be thinking, despite the fact being Infinity Wars tie-in, it doesn't have much to do with Infinity Wars. Here's a Sleepwalker. That's what he looks like here. We have some stuff. It's almost like, it's basically what, the best way to describe this miniseries is what involvement did Sleepwalker have with the Infinity Wars. What seems like very, very like something that was not really mentioned very much. And here's the cover of the very first issue of the original Sleepwalker comic, which was also his very first appearance. And if you're curious though, what does Sleepwalker look like in his first ever appearance, drawn by Brett Bivens? Here he is. And you're thinking, what's up with the star? Why does he look different? It's the 90s. I at least got to praise Marvel for giving the coloring basically really good lighting for us. Really good. I love the colors for this thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's mostly... But this is actually a pretty good miniseries. As well as Infinity Wars. Excuse me. It's a pretty surprising book to tie into Infinity Wars because he's not a character really brought up very much at all. No, not really. I'm going to give this book a 9 out of 10. Yes. Now, aside from appearing well in his own book, he was also a recurring character in the Miss Marvel book. Yep. He appeared there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it seems as though, like, once this book ended, he didn't do very much at all. No, not really. It just seems as though, like, here's the thing. After his series ended, back in 1994, the guy did nothing for, over, a decade. Until he popped up an issue for Marvel Team Up. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, so it took him 10 years to finally return in an issue of Marvel Team Up. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then he popped up Miss Marvel. And he's popped up here and there over the years. Yes. Now, did he fight any villains in the original book? He fought the Kingpin Hobgoblin. I mean, what superhero besides Spider-Man has not fought the Hobgoblin? Yeah. But in the case of Infinity Wars, he's one character I never would have suspected he would take part in Infinity Wars. It's kind of weird, really? Sleepwalker? Yes, seriously. That's the weird thing when it comes to Infinity Wars. Now, I've covered a small chunk of Infinity Wars. Yes. Yeah, but Infinity Wars is a really interesting event. I do recommend checking out. Yeah, this book only came out just a few years ago, but yeah, it's not surprising though. This book was only about $5 because, well, the thing is, a lot of casual comic creators, readers, be like, "Who the heck is Sleepwalker?" They probably would have no idea who the heck this guy is, because Marvel doesn't promote him very much. No. I would not be surprised though if they had this character pop up in the movie. Would I just give him his own movie? No, I probably would not think so because he's not, let's say, a big character like Hawkeye or Moon Knight. I mean, he's basically, you can kind of think of him as a character who is very obscure. He's a very obscure character. And it is always something that they bring up this character, and yet they bring up other characters that basically almost as obscure as he is. I guess some Marvel creators like this character. It might be asking Nick, you probably asking me, have I read the original comic? Well, aside from the opening issue, I've read a couple issues here and there. I haven't read the whole series. One series I really enjoyed, I think Marvel should give more love to this character, is Darkhawk. Yep. I'm thinking of eventually getting the Darkhawk tie into Infinity Countdown. Yeah, but not much else to say about these two trades. I mean, Faith was awesome. Sleepwalkers, okay. That's the best way to say it. Yeah. So, that's pretty much it for this particular review. Stay tuned for next review, which is going to be another Comic Corner. And then I'm going to do our review for New Chapter Black Clover, and it'll be 3 straight anime reviews. Okay, next video. Bye.